wonder if that's our boat.
We're in Houghton, Michigan. This is where our ferry departs to get to Isle Royale National Park. We're going to be riding the Ranger 3. This is the largest piece of equipment that the National Park Service owns. When you first hear that, it sounds massive, but it doesn't really seem that big. There are some downsides to this ferry ride. It is 6 hours, and due to COVID, the kitchen on board is not operating, so we stopped at a bakery, got some pasties, and that's what we're going to eat on board. Once we get on the island, we don't have much of a plan. We have to talk to a ranger and see what any of the rules and regulations are for camping. One thing that we are most excited about is moose. There are supposed to be tons of moose on this island, and I haven't heard anything from anybody indicating that we will not see moose. There's no bear, and there's only a couple of wolves. So I am pumped to see some moose and not get eaten by anything else also.
I think you were the last person to wear this. It's tight. Holy moly. Checked our bags. Alright.
Amber and Nathan?
Yes.
Wonderful. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got some boot cleaners to clean your boots so that we don't bring invasive species to the island. So please stand on the wood and give your feet a brush.
Wanna go up?
Heck yeah, why not?
This is really nice.
Woo! I feel like we're not in the right area.
Wanna grab tape across it?
No, I think up here sounds nice. I don't think it leaves for another 15 or 20 minutes, but they were pretty adamant about getting here an hour early for check-in. And this thing is really empty. If this is anything like our ferry to the Channel Islands, it's gonna be a great 6 hours. There is a top deck, but it looks like it's closed right now. That's too bad. I have no idea how much it costs, but you are able to transport a canoe, kayak, and even your own boat on this ferry to the island.
We'll just let somebody know you need something to throw up into. Common. Might not be that bad. Maybe it'll only be like 3 foot waves. I'm not sure, but the forecast right now says like 5 to 7. So.
In case you didn't hear that, there's going to be 5 to 7 foot waves, and it is not uncommon to throw up on the ride over.
Not looking forward to that.
We didn't bring Dramamine or like we don't have any. You have it? This guy's got it going.
Important things for you guys to be aware of. Our Royale is a wilderness island. We have very limited emergency and medical services. If you go on a hike or something, just be careful. Keep safety as your #1 concern while you're out there. If you guys do see moose while you're there, just give them plenty of space and don't interact with them. Don't approach them or anything.
And what are the odds of that happening?
I mean, if you go on a hike, especially if you're heading west at all, actually pretty high. Okay, so you guys are camping and
Yeah, we're camping overnight.
Cool. So it's first come, first serve. There's a campground there in Rock Harbor. There's a campground 3 miles away, a 3-mile campground. But they fill up relatively, so like the first place people usually try and camp. So one of you guys just fill this out, and then just set that down on the counter there, and we'll get you a permit printed up.
We moved downstairs to a table so we could take a nap. How was your nap?
Well, that makes sense to you. Sign on the back there.
Not worth it.
Any seasickness?
No,
Good.
it's not that bouncy. This is a pasty.
I wish I would have eaten it when it was warm.
In the simplest description, a pasty, it's basically like a mincemeat pie. I think this one has pork and chicken, rhubarb, celery, carrots, and onions. Didn't get gravy or slaw or anything like that with it. It's still good. It's cold, although the nighttime temperature is not supposed to be a whole lot less than what it is right now, which is very odd for Michigan. Welcome to Isle Royale,
Royal, not Royale.
Mekong, or simply the island.
It's our 51st national park, and we finally made it. Considering I've never actually hiked in Michigan before, this is beautiful. Makes me like Michigan even that much more.
So for the most part, all the camping on the island is at campgrounds. There's like 20 of them, and they're all about anywhere between like 5 and 10 miles apart or so. The whole island is about 40 miles across, so you could cross the entire island in just a couple of days. It looks like most people spend a couple of days on the island. Our plan today is to hike to 3 Mile Campground. And you guessed it, they call it that because it's about 3 miles from Rock Harbor. We're gonna set up camp and then hike some more if we feel up to it. So far we've got perfect weather, so I think that'll be the case.
Just the fact that the sun's out. There's like a 70% chance of rain today, and I haven't seen a single drop.
It didn't even rain while we were on the boat.
Nope.
We didn't even have choppy water, which is what they thought was gonna happen too.
Yeah, you slept through most of that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All right. Moose update, not yet.
I just love how tall this is. The total cost for both of us to visit this island by the Ranger 3 ferry was $250 exactly. It was $55 for our ride here per person, and then the ride back tomorrow happens to be the day where they bump up their prices for the summer whatever, so it was a little extra. It is what it is. We knew this would be one of the more expensive visits.
But not the most expensive.
Nope, not the most expensive.
Only $7 on top of the ferry ride or whatever form of transportation you choose to get here to actually come to the park.
Yeah.
Which is the cheapest that we've ever seen other than free.
Mm-hmm.
We also happen to take the longest ferry ride.
Mm-hmm.
Any other boat, you can leave from Minnesota and Copper Harbor, which is at the most northern tip of the Keweenaw Peninsula, and all of those ferry rides are shorter. But all of those ferries are privately owned, and the Ranger 3, which is the one that we took, is the only one operated by the National Park Service.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the full park experience.
That's right. Look at that. Wow.
This is an inland lake.
Really?
Yep.
Alright. I am devastated. We just passed a big group of friends, probably our age, said, hey, how long you been out here and have you seen any moose? They said 5 days and they saw one moose. One! There's supposed to be like thousands on this island. At the very least, several hundred. That was the whole point of the trip. Haven't lost hope yet. It's a big disappointment.
The impossible just happened.
I kid you not. What I just said a minute ago about passing people, telling you that, well, they told us they didn't see a moose for the last 5 days. 2 minutes later, there was one on the trail. They just passed it.
Yeah.
Um,
It could be because there was too many of them, they were too loud.
I think so. We actually scared it, like it didn't see us for a minute. I do think that we just got about 40 bug bites each in the process of trying to film it. That was incredible. I really, really hope it happens again.
That was just a baby.
Mm-hmm. In the right direction.
As much as we would love to set up shots like we always do, we gotta keep moving or we will get eaten alive. We're only about half mile from our campsite, and it's first come, first serve. So we want to get there. On this island, not only do they have tent sites, but completely enclosed shelters from what it sounds like. So the bugs don't get you. And that sounds so nice, but there's no guarantees.
It just looks so cool.
Whole moss forest right there.
One night stay limit. Look at all those structures. Wow. Let me check. Hello? Oh yeah, Nathan, this one's empty. Oh. And that's what they mean by the door slamming.
Let's do it.
You want to stay in this one?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Well, what do you think?
Well, it's a lot better than I expected.
Do we even need to set up our tent?
Maybe if you want a little privacy.
Nah. This is pretty big.
So I kind of want to explain why we only hiked 3 miles in. We got here at 3 p.m. We got on the ferry at 8 a.m. this morning. That same ferry stays overnight, and we have to get back on it at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we have a 3-mile hike back to Rock Harbor to get on the ferry, which means start hiking around 6. It's gonna be an early morning.
We're gonna try to hike.
We're not really gonna hike anywhere. We're gonna go check out the rest of the campground and hopefully see another moose. There's no better feeling than smushing a little mosquito to smithereens.
That water looks so nice. This water is so clear.
Oh,
Cold?
ice cold. Okay, we went moose hunting. We walked another 1.5 miles down the trail that we were already on. No luck. We were told that it's easier to see them in the morning. So when we get up and hit the trail at 6, we'll have better luck then. That's our goal.
We're back at our home for the night. We are incredibly lucky that we snagged this shelter when we did. I think we were one of the last spots available, and we actually ran into a couple that were on the ferry with us on the way here, and they got here and it was full. They hiked 3 miles and had to keep going.
That was my biggest fear, that we were gonna have to hike 3 more miles out, which means we would have had to hike 3 more miles back in the morning and still make it to the ferry before 8 a.m.
Yeah. Fully plan to spend some amount of my morning tomorrow right here. Normally I'd be really excited to see the night sky tonight, but two things. There's a lot of cloud coverage because I think it's supposed to storm or it was planning on it and decided not to. And there's actually a fire, a wildfire in Canada right now that's causing a lot of haze up here. So normally the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is a great place to see some stars.
Not just stars, but the northern lights.
Yes. Yep.
This is the worst can opener in the entire world. I guess it's bedtime. We'll see you in the morning.
Five minutes ahead of schedule. Look at that sun on those trees.
We're about a half mile from Rock Harbor Visitor Center. We are way ahead of schedule. That just means we have enough time for coffee. I don't know if we showed how excited we are to make it to every single park. Mostly because honestly, it's more of a relief. We had this goal in mind and there were a lot more roadblocks and challenges than I think we originally intended for. I don't think we thought it would take an entire year. Definitely didn't think it would take 3 different vehicles. And I think what we're most excited for is what's to come next. We're not 100% sure what next entails, but it definitely does not consist of us living in a vehicle in the United States. That is for sure. Our next journey will definitely involve a plane.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
It's honestly incredible that they let people stand out here, like right now. This does not feel safe to me. In the little warning brief, they just say, if you see somebody go overboard, you just gotta yell, man overboard. Okay.
We have about a half an hour until we hit the ferry dock, and then we have an 8.5-hour drive home. We have to drive all the way home tonight because we have to turn in the car by noon tomorrow morning, and we still have to clean some stuff out. But just like after a really long hike, we are just sitting here discussing where we're gonna eat before we leave.
We made it. So hungry. I gotta say bye to our new friend. This thing needs a car wash.
Once it crossed, it was already like.
Ready?
I guess.
Our ETA without stopping driving straight, which means that's not possible, is 12:23 a.m.
Fast food it was.